Alright, so now we'll do a little bit on weapons rules, weapons, and attachments and equipment that can be given to your men to aid them in the accomplishment of their mission. I'm not going to go over each one of these in detail, but there's a lot of them. So these are direct fire weapons rules. So a couple of the ones that I've used the most: compact, that's a small weapon, more maneuverable. So that gives you a +1 to your targeting rolls in your first range interval. Crew served, that lets you re-roll a shot that you miss. So like a sniper, you have a crewman with them and you miss, you can re-roll that. So that's very good for snipers. Encumbering, that means you can't move and shoot. So medium machine guns, heavy sniper rifles, you can't move and shoot them, you got to set up. Rapid fire, whenever that. Sustained fire is good. That lets you fire 4 shots, and you can split those shots up to 4 different targets within 2 inches of the main target that you selected at a -1 on your targeting roll. So you can really put down some lead down range on with that. So that's what medium machine guns are good for, because they have a higher lethality and they can be crew served. Different kinds of shotguns. I can go over too much on that. You got your different blast weapons, thrown weapons. So these are all different types of grenades you can have. Those are vehicle weapons. So now here's all, we kind of went over this a little bit, but these are a few pages of just weapons. So you got your range interval, lethality, special rules, and examples of the type of weapon in real life that would be. So like submachine gun is compact and automatic. So automatic rule says you get 3 shots at -1, as opposed to rapid fire, which is 2 shots. So submachine guns can put out 3 shots. If you really want to take a guy down, you hit him with an automatic weapon, he's going to probably get hit twice and he'll be automatically killed. So an example of that: MP5, P90, SIG, MPX. And you got your different shotguns. It's like your auto shotgun, only got a 6-inch range interval, but it's a 3+ lethality. And then you have buckshot, automatic, so that's 3 shots. So you got 3 shots on your automatic shotgun at 3 up lethality. So you're going to be taking guys out pretty quick with that thing. Plus it's breaching, gives you a +2 on your breaching roll. And here's all your different assault rifles, battle rifle, different sniper rifles. Heavy sniper rifle, that's the one I like. I'm going to be using that with a crewman so I can re-roll my miss. Different machine guns. This heavy machine gun is a real beast. It fires sustained fire for 4 shots, crew serve, so you can re-roll one of those. Heavy weapon, that just means you got to pack it up to move it and set it up when you get to where you're going. So you can't move and shoot it, obviously. Armor piercing, so that's like another +1 to kill, and it's a 2+ lethality with a 36-inch range interval. So I do have one of those. I got it for my my militia force, give them some firepower. So those are really powerful in this game. You can be wiping out 4 guys a turn if you do it right. If you get good rolling. So there's a bunch of different weapons: anti-tank, shoulder-fired rockets, RPGs, thrown weapons, bigger weapons like javelins and stuff like that. Bushmaster auto cannons, quad auto cannons. I mean, look at that multi-blast. There's 8 1-inch frags at a 2+ lethality. So I mean, that thing is just devastating. And that's that. Another cool thing in here is you get different minefields. Minefields are very lethal at 2+. So you walk into one, it's a 5+. If you step on one, low density. 3+ if you're high density minefield. And then it's a 1-inch blast. So if there's anyone within 1 inch of you, they take a 2+ lethality too. So not a good idea to walk into a minefield. Directional mine claymores, they're pretty brutal. 2+ lethality at 10 inches. 4+ to hit. At 10 to 20, they're 6 to hit, because the claymore has all those ball bearings packed into it, and they shoot out, and it's like a big shotgun. That just, the farther out it gets, the farther apart the balls get, so less likely to hit you. Tripwires, that's something I like to put into my scenarios. It's a good way to, you can have tripwires for trip flares, you can have IEDs, hand grenades, whatever. Just a cool thing you can put into your scenarios. Then you have all your unconventional bombs, suicide bombers. So you can have vehicles, truck, very large, massive IED, 2+ lethality, automatic hit, and it's devastating. So it kills everyone within 8 inches of the vehicle automatically. Everything, every building, every vehicle, anything within 8 inches of that is automatically destroyed. So that's pretty brutal if you get hit by one of those large truck bombs. So over here we're going to go over the equipment. These are attachments for weapons. So red dot laser sight, we went over that, +1 to hit on the first range interval. Scope gives you +1 to hit anything past the first range interval, but you can't move. Suppressor, now these things, they make it so that your weapon can't be heard beyond the first range interval. So if your range interval is 16, if you have a suppressor, anyone past 16 doesn't hear the shot, so they can't be alerted if they're on alert. And to go with that, there's subsonic ammo. Now this will make it so that it's half of the range interval. So like a submachine gun has a 10-inch range interval. With just a suppressor, anyone past 10 inches can't hear you shoot. So you're already pretty stealthy. But if you get subsonic ammo with it, suddenly you're at 5 inches. So you can shoot within 5 inches of an enemy and he can't hear it. So those two together are really good for night type infiltration missions when you need to clear a place out without anyone hearing. Get some submachine guns with suppressor and subsonic ammo, and you're going in silent. Subsonic ammo can only be taken by elites though. So you got close combat weapons. Optics, that's to help call in your off-table assets. Communications, you got radio comms between squad members, and long-range comms are what the force commander has to take to call in any off-table assets. First aid, so if you get, say you have a guy that gets shot, he's bleeding out. If you have a guy that has a trauma kit, he moves into position next to the guy. He rolls a d6. On a 4-up, he stops the guy bleeding out. And if you have other guys, more than one guy with trauma kit, then you get +1. So the more guys you have around casualty with trauma kits, the more chance you have of stopping the bleeding. Stimulant packs, they're kind of the opposite. So the trauma kits stop the bleeding. They don't bring the guy back into the game. But the trauma kit will bring the guy, the stimulant pack will bring the guy back into the game. So he'll get up, he might still be bleeding, so you need a battlefield trauma kit and a stimulant pack together to actually stop the bleeding and get the guy back into the fight. So those are things you can equip. Here's all your combat equipment. So your night vision makes everything like day. Body armor gives you a -1 in the lethality of an attack. So if the firing weapon is a 4 lethality, if you have body armor, it's a 5. But if they have armor piercing ammo, then it's back down to normal because it takes away that modifier. Flashlight, heavy body armor is a -1 lethality, and you can make your opponent re-roll any successful lethality. Ghillie suits, they make it hard to see. Reaching charge, we went over that. Got shields. I got some really crazy stuff. Climbing kits, diving kits, tactical ladders, dogs. I got different types of dogs you can bring. Repelling kits. Here's all the off-table assets. Like I said, there's a million of them. Helicopter snipers, minigun helicopter cannon. Looks like a 30mm cannon on a Apache. helicopter rockets, helicopter missile like a Hellfire, close air support like an A-10, iron bomber, laser guided bomb. I mean, a bunch of UAVs, mortars, artillery, four-gun mission, four-gun fire mission. You got smoke, illumination rounds for mortars. So I mean, there's just like I said, there's a ton of stuff that you can take. Point values. I don't really play with point values yet. I just design scenarios and try to make them balanced as I can. I'm not that experienced, so I'm still trying to figure out a good mix of like how many militia should you take if you take 8 operators. Should you take like 20 militia, 25? I mean, what would make a fair fight? I haven't really nailed that down yet, and a lot of it probably depends on the the mission and the conditions. So at night, when no one's aware and the enemy's not aware and you have operators, they can kill a lot of the guys, a lot of the militia before the militia even know they're there. So there's a little chart. If you want to build your own force, this will tell you, who can take what. So how many specialist weapons you can take. So professional squad can take 1 specialist per 3 guys. Specialist weapon is considered like a medium machine gun, heavy sniper rifle, anything that, almost like anything encumbering, almost, it seems like. And over here you got just your chart of all the weapons. This tells you who can take what. So E is elite, professional, trained, militia, untrained. This gives you a list of all the attachments, all the weapons, and who can take what. So like carbine, for some reason trained can't take a carbine. I don't know why. There must be a game balance thing, but that's what all these are, just a list of who can take what and how much each of these things cost. So I'm going to go over the scenario design real quick. So they have a section in the back here, game setup and scenarios, and they also give you a bunch of advice on, just a bunch of good things to know on how to set up scenarios. So they give you actually some scenarios in here, examples, like this one, attack and defense. It gives you your forces, so 30 rangers against 19 militia. But the militia also are in like fortified positions, and they have 10 men on call as reinforcements. Gives you your victory conditions, your deployment type, mission specific rules like your conditions, clear night, who's alert, who has the initiative. There's several of these in here. I haven't tried one of these yet because I don't necessarily have all of the exact models to run them, but they're a good guideline to making a mission. I've made a couple of missions. Like this is the one I plan on running tomorrow, Operation Mercury it's called. It's going to be on this table minus that big building there and that building. So I actually I wrote it all up, made the forces. So in the mission, we're going to be trying to destroy some anti-aircraft missiles that ISIS has got, and have been shooting down Iraqi helicopters. And there's also a secondary objective where we need to rescue the POWs. So I went through and put all this together. There's a couple tripwires I did, but I'm going to go over all this tomorrow when we go start the battle mission, or the battle report. But and I did even took a picture of the table, printed it off. So we use these to plan our missions. If you're the ISIS defenders, you have some tripwires, so you can mark on the map, where the tripwires are. And then You know, if the operators are trying to sneak through and they go through where your tripwire is, you say, whoa, you just went through one of my tripwires, and you show the guy on the map, here it is, yep. What kind of tripwire was it? It was illumination. So the flare goes up, whole place gets bathed in light, suddenly everyone's alert. So you got to be cautious, and that's another way that scanning comes in. So, you know, if my operators were coming up here, we could scan this area, and if we did, we passed the test, we'd see the tripwire. We could cut it, move through. So that's what scanning really comes in for good. But anyway, that's my mission. I'll go into it more detail tomorrow when we do our battle report. But anyway, that's it. I know it's not the greatest video. I don't know the rules 100% myself, but I wanted to put something out there because people have been wanting to see something like this. So hopefully this will hold people off until, you know, the Spectre themselves can put out a really professional grade video like this. So anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.